Welcome to the Explainer. Ever feel like you're stuck in the Power Apps basics, just spinning your wheels? Well, today we're cutting through all the noise. We're going to skip the hours of tutorials and get right to the core concepts that really separate the good developers from the great ones. This is your 5-minute journey to mastery. All right, let's dive right in. The real secret to getting great at Power Apps isn't about memorizing a huge list of functions. Nope. It's about getting a really deep understanding of just a handful of powerful ideas. Those ideas are the foundation of any amazing app, and that's exactly what we're going to focus on. So, where do we start? Well, our journey kicks off right at the heart of Power Apps, the Power FX language. And to really master it, we have to start with the single most important concept in all of programming. And that quote right there, it really nails our first step. Conditional branching sounds complicated, right? But it's really just a fancy way of saying your app has to make decisions. You have to teach it how to think, how to react differently depending on the situation. Okay, so how do we actually do that? How do we give our app a brain? Well, you need the right tools. And in Power FX, that means getting really good with conditional functions. Okay, so check this out. This slide basically lays out the two big ways your app can think. On the left, you've got the if function. Think of it like a simple fork in the road, a yes or no question. Is the user the boss? Yes? Okay, go to the boss screen. Simple. But then on the right, you've got switch. Now this is more like a big roundabout with lots of exits. It's your best friend when you're checking one thing against a whole list of possibilities, like a user's role. If they're an admin, go here. A user, go there. It's so much cleaner than trying to stack a bunch of if statements on top of each other. Right, so a smart app needs a memory. An app that can't remember anything from 1 second to the next isn't very useful, is it? This is where variables and collections come in. They're basically your app's short-term memory. And this table breaks it down perfectly. Think of a global variable like a sticky note you put on your monitor. You see it no matter what you're doing in the app, perfect for things like the user's name. Then you have a context variable. This is more like a note you tuck into a specific page of a book. It only matters for that one screen, which is great for stuff like making a pop-up window appear or disappear. And finally, collections. These are incredible. Imagine you could create a little temporary spreadsheet right inside your app's memory. That's a collection. It makes your galleries and charts load super fast. Okay, so we've got logic, we've got memory. What's next? Well, now it's time to connect to the outside world. Your app has to be able to talk to its permanent home for data, whether that's Dataverse, SharePoint, or something else, so it can read and write information. And this is where the patch function becomes so important. Look, you could use submit form, but that's kind of like using a sledgehammer. It just saves everything all at once. Patch is like a surgeon's scalpel. It gives you this amazing, pinpoint control to create a new record or modify an existing one, updating just the specific fields you want. This is an absolute game changer for any kind of complex save logic. And this right here, this is a professional grade pattern you should steal and use in every single app you build. Seriously. First, you wrap your whole save action in something called if error. It's like a safety net. If anything goes wrong, it catches it. Then you use Notify to give the user a clear message. Hey, it worked. Or, uh-oh, something went wrong. Finally, you hit it with a reset to clear out the form for the next person. It's simple, it's robust, and it makes your apps feel so much more polished. All right, we've built a solid engine for our app. Now let's talk about the bodywork, the part the user actually sees and touches. Because a great app isn't just about what it does, it's about how it feels to use it. And that means breaking free from the default layouts. Oh man, you've totally run into this wall, right? You're trying to design a form and you're thinking, I just want 3 fields on this row and maybe 2 on the next. But the standard form just locks you into these rigid columns. It's so frustrating. So how do you break out of that box? The secret is actually super simple, but it feels like a total game changer. You basically tell a form to forget about columns. You set it to 1 column, turn off snap to columns, and boom, you've just taken the training wheels off. Now you can place each field exactly where you want it using its X property to control its horizontal spot on the screen. So the X property slides things left and right, and the Y property moves them up and down. That's it. Once you get that, you can literally create any layout you can dream up. You're not just a developer anymore. You're the app's interior designer. Okay, We have covered a ton of ground here, from the app's brain to its memory to how it looks. So let's pull all of this together into one final toolkit that you can use to build some seriously professional apps. So here's the bottom line. Becoming a master isn't about memorizing 100 different functions. It's about knowing how to combine these core tools in creative ways. Always give your user feedback with Notify. Get comfortable using Patch with defaults for precise control over your data. And really understand how to manage your app's state with variables and collections. As you grow, you'll add more tools like text manipulation and validation, but these are the absolute essentials for solving real-world problems. And there you have it. That's our deep dive into the real core of PowerFX. You now have the fundamental toolkit. That path from citizen developer to Power Apps master, it's right there in front of you. The only question left is, what are you going to build?